Ehkä mun pitää vaan taputella sitä niin pitkään, kunnes mä aloitan sen. Good evening everyone. I'll give it a couple of minutes so that people can tune in. Täällä saattaa vähän lämmin tulla.
Mahdollista olla auki niin kauan.
Joo, anna vaan. Joo. I see the number of viewers is going up steadily. Let's give it another minute. Meanwhile, if you like, you can go to Open Heart blog and found a text entitled Teaching on the Four Immeasurables According to Open Heart, published on 2 days ago, on 2nd of June. Teaching on the Four Immeasurables According to Open Heart. This text can actually also be, you're viewing this from the Facebook wall, so it can be found from below this video somewhere as well. Se on 15 sekuntia. Tai pysyy. Okay, let's begin. So, hello everyone, again. So this is the usual Tuesday webcast, live from Helsinki Center. I don't remember when we had the previous one, but the next webcast will be in 2 weeks from now. So next week there won't be a webcast, but in 2 weeks there will be, after which there will be a break of 1.5 months in these practices and teachings. Also, just a reminder, next month, in the month of July, I think it's in mid-July, there is the second annual week-long retreat, Open Heart Retreat in UK, in Wales. And I think there are still seats open. So welcome to join teachings in UK. I always recommend, and it's generally recommended in different yogic groups, that it is, if it's possible, it's much better to practice with other people in person in the same room. So we have regular events in UK, Ireland. We have teachings this weekend in Ireland, in Dublin, and also in Finland later this year. So please do attend if it's possible for you. You probably won't regret it. And another thing is that if you are interested in open heart teachings and haven't learned open heart yoga, the next empowerment given by Lama Karl will be on 16th of this month. So in less than 2 weeks, I think it's on Sunday 16th, he will give the next open heart yoga empowerment, and followed by online learning materials. So if you haven't learned open heart yoga that is recommended. Open heart yoga is the main practice of open heart sangha, tantric practice, and in these sessions that I teach on Tuesdays, they are kind of workshops on practices and things that we practice in open heart yoga. So these are kind of just workshopping those practices to help our practitioners to understand open heart yoga better, and what we do in general help in that understanding. So on these Tuesday webcasts, because open heart yoga needs to be learned properly and there's an empowerment involved, so in these public Tuesday sessions there will never be a guided open heart yoga practice, but this can be arranged in open heart sangha for sangha members. Okay, then to the topic of the day. So I mentioned a moment ago that if you like, you can open Open Heart blog and find a text published on 2nd of June, 2 days ago, entitled Teaching on the Four Immeasurables According to Open Heart, or according to understanding of yours truly. So I will read the first couple of paragraphs to you. Teachings of Vajrayana need to be technical so that we can understand what we are doing and know where we are heading, but it is important to not let the technical language become an obstacle to the actual experience. The natural state can be considered, recognized and meditated through the next four immeasurables. Four immeasurables is a very general and common teaching in Mahayana Buddhism. So you can find a Wikipedia page of four immeasurables, for example. Firstly, it is imbued with equanimity, meaning that it is peaceful in a way that penetrates our entire being, our foundations. When I say it is peaceful, it means everyone has this bedrock peacefulness within them, and when I say that everyone already knows what I'm talking about in some degree, it's not something distant or foreign to us. Therefore, it makes sense to us. Secondly, so the first one is equanimity. I don't remember the Sanskrit word for it, and it doesn't matter. Secondly, there is, or we are capable of having, an immensely rich and pure sense of healing love at the heart. This is very important to experience, because if we don't, we won't really understand the nature of mind or compassion, which both are at the core of the great vehicle towards full enlightenment. Great vehicle here is a translation for Mahayana, and full enlightenment is a term here used for Buddhahood, full enlightenment. This love, softness and pureness of the heart is something that most practitioners don't get, and because they don't, the next immeasurable of compassion becomes like a bird with one wing that obviously cannot fly like a bird should. Love makes the whole thing matter to us, brings it alive, so if we don't experience this love, if there is no emotional connection, we simply cannot care, are not able to express compassion from the deepest place within us. If this kind of love is absent, we won't be traveling in the great vehicle towards enlightenment, and all we do, our whole training, will be missing a loving heart. What is life and path without loving heart? Not much, not meaningful. Love also heals hurts and traumas we all have. This love, who we are, it makes us complete as human beings. Maybe I'll just read the next paragraphs as well, even though this session is about love. Thirdly, we are capable of this immense care from our own hearts within our chest to the hearts of all beings. This was workshopped in the bodhicitta sessions that I taught earlier this spring in these Tuesday sessions. Can be found from our YouTube channel. This is compassion, so much stressed in Buddhist teachings. Compassion is cultivated because in our subtle body we are actually connected with all sentient beings around us, physical and non-physical. When we cultivate compassion from healthy heart of love, suddenly we can feel how all beings are together, experiencing the pain of cyclic existence. Cyclic existence is samsara. Therefore, we can become a cause of liberation for other beings, become caregivers instead of remaining in confusion, ignorance and pain like most beings. It makes a vast difference. Here we can see the seamless continuum of equanimity, love and compassion. It really is a seamless continuum, although can be artificially chopped into pieces and viewed separately. Lastly, followed by foundational equanimity, love that fills the heart, reaching out to all sentient beings with care and interest, is what joyfulness is. Joy is the fourth immeasurable. The first three are what constitutes joy. This is the liberated state that is full of meaning, that is not flat, boring, indifferent, tasteless and colorless, and not made heavy with mental gymnastics on phrases such as not existence nor non-existence. A joy means being light, very light, being light, traveling light, but not being indifferent, distracted, or selfishly concerned. Those who are fully enlightened live in this experience without a moment's break. Those who are on the path to full enlightenment can emulate this through repeated practice, and when they do it correctly, there is always an immense relief and relaxation of the samsaric death grip caused by the sense of self. These four are traditionally called four immeasurables, here expressed as taught and viewed in open heart. Guru Rinpoche's guideline for open heart is to bring joy back to Buddhism. This is the joy he is talking about, something simple, something real, something abound with meaning. The natural state is rich, tasty and delicious, not flat, colorless and emotionally meaningless. It needs to move and touch our hearts, otherwise it has little meaning and effect. Love, more love. So I think that I will probably speak of the importance and meaning of love, pure love, probably for the next couple of months at least. But I'll just mention that I started to write this text yesterday with the same title as this webcast, Love, the Great Magnetic Healer, and I didn't finish it yet, but some of the things that I mentioned there was that the way how I understand love is like I wrote in that text. So it really needs to be something that is rich, something that is full, and because of this richness and fullness, it brings in a lot of meaning. I mentioned in the text that that certainly is my impression that in Buddhism talks about love in a very different manner than Hindu yogis, Hindu teachers, Hindu yoginis generally do. And I think there is something that Buddhists miss with this. I used to practice and teach, and we used to practice Hindu Tantra with a Hindu Mahasiddha. Years ago we shifted to Buddhist practices 5-6 years ago, but before that I used to teach a form of Kriya Yoga. I wrote a text about this just 1 or 2 weeks ago, talking about this. And when we practiced with Babaji and Tirumular, when we practiced Sundara Kriya Yoga, one of the main spices, main ingredients in our tantric practice was this devotional love, this magnetic sensation, this emotion that really fills and nourishes us from inside. And I've seen that some Buddhists have criticized Hindus because in traditions such as Bhakti Yoga, there are many different branches of Bhakti Yoga, but sometimes Buddhists criticize Hindus of this Bhakti or loving devotion, saying that it's over-emotional. And it's a fair point. I've also seen overkills of this over-emotional Bhakti. Well, that's a different story. I won't go into that, but there can be too much of it, so that you become, somebody might become obsessed or just not healthy and not balanced. But at the same time, I think that Buddhists miss something with not being emotional enough, not being loving enough. And actually the 4 immeasurables that I was talking about, they are equanimity, love, compassion and joy. So the second one, love, is actually metta or maitri in Sanskrit. And this maitri means more like friendliness or kindness. So it's often translated as love, but I think that there's a big difference between being kind or being friendly and having that fullness of love. So, and I certainly think that having experienced and having practiced both Hindu yogas and Buddhist yogas over the last more than 16 years professionally, and couple of decades before that spontaneously, I think that what I wanna do is to from that experience that some old members of Open Heart Sangha who practiced Kriya Yoga have, and what I have, I want to bring that rich love, this great magnetic healer, bring it back, because it brings so much meaning to our life, and there's so much healing that love does. So this is a brief introduction into this topic in general. I think I will continue talking about this in 2 weeks, and certainly will be teaching about this on the summer retreat. The summer retreat is named, I think it's Moisture of Awareness, Being Nourished by Love. So if you can't make it to the summer retreat in person, at least you can see the recorded videos afterwards. Long story short, let's go into practice. So take a nice upright posture. Just generally letting your body relax, soften. You can close your eyes. Let the energies flow free. So release the holding, release the grip, subtle or gross holding, gripping from all the muscles of your body. It's sort of like if you're using a belt and the belt is too tight and you had it tight for the whole day, then when you loosen the belt, it's release, relaxation. The same thing in the whole body. Just being together with that, being aware of that relaxation, release. When there's release of this holding, energy starts flowing freely. Just being together with that, being aware of that. Free flow. As this relaxation sweeps through your whole being, through your whole body, from head to toe, to arms, to the torso of the body, notice that there's aliveness in your being. Simply, your body, your mind, you are alive. And this aliveness is positive. It is joyful. Life is positive. Notice that positivity. It is not dark or negative about things. Our whole being, this natural state, says yes rather than no. Is that so? Check in your own experience. What can happen is that sometimes when you relax, you kind of relax into these dull or monotonic state. If that happens, be aware of that and let that also flow. Free flow for a couple of minutes. Aligning the spine and the rest of the body well against the pull of the gravity, so that the breathing, muscles associated with breathing in the stomach and in the solar plexus area, on the sides, can relax as much as possible. If the spine is arched one way or the other, chest is too much in the front or too much in the back, then this will create extra tensions in the belly, which will then obstruct breathing. And this will, your mind won't calm down. Restlessness won't subside. So this is why good posture is essential. So resting, relaxing, releasing, free flow of energies, thoughts, emotional energies, whatever energies. Relax the jaws here. You can stretch it a couple of times. Usually when there's stuck energy in the jaws, it will keep the thoughts spinning in your mind. But when you relax the jaws, stretch them a little bit, these tensions, programs will stop spinning around. You can let your mouth be gently open, like a little bit open, lips and also teeth apart a little bit, tongue floating in the mouth. Let the muscles in the eyes relax, around the eyes, behind the eyes, in the temples. Relax. Release. Release the grip. So, as I always say, when we chant mantras or when we do visualizations or when we relax the body, whatever the technique is, there is this basic knowing of relaxation, knowing of saying mantras, knowing of visualization, knowing of thinking, knowing of dreaming. There is always this basic knowing, basic cognizance is at the base of whatever we perceive through our senses, whatever we think, whatever we do. And this knowingness is really the foundation of Dzogchen practice. I gave workshops on knowing awareness early this year that also can be found from Open Heart YouTube. So knowing relaxation, knowing release, knowing that positivity of the life of your body-mind. It is alive, and this aliveness itself is positive. Because it lives, it's positive. Positive life force. Positive expression of life itself. And so it is in the case of everyone else, all sentient beings, all life within and without us. Feel this positivity, aliveness, liveliness, brimming of life in your body-mind. Feeling it in the body, meaning the space inside your skin, feeling it in the aura, in your energy field, surrounding your physical body, simply perceiving that aliveness in your aura, in your body, and also notice the aliveness, the positivity in your heart, in the middle of your chest, inside your chest, somewhere there in the midpoint between chest and back, there in the center, within that cavity inside the chest. Notice that positivity there. Is it there? see, check whether this aliveness, positivity is there or not. It is not something special I'm talking about. I'm talking about the basic aliveness of our being. Not something great or special. Something really common that everyone has. Everyone is. Positivity of the heart. So when you feel that, perceive that, find it, just be it, be with it. All of us have, at least I hope all of us have, at some point with some person, be it a parent or a sibling, boy or girlfriend, lover, or with pet, domestic pet you might have had, a dog or a cat, some other kind of pet, or we might have experienced love, this lovingness, also in nature, for example, when seeing a beautiful view. This love, emotion of love comes about. So through these human relationships with our family members, friends, lovers, or domestic pets, other animals, each of us have some previous reference, previous experience of love. This kind of pure, really pure and selfless and natural, full, rich sensation, feeling here in the heart, in the chest. And now if I ask you, when you detect that positivity of aliveness in your heart, is that not love? To magnify this sense of love a little bit, turning more volume to it, let's use a simple mantra, which is the word love in your own native language. So simply have your attention there in the chest, and in your mind, silently, say to yourself, love, 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 love. So you say it, kind of release it in that heart space, let it reverberate in your body-mind and feel it, what this love is. You can keep doing it, this love mantra, love prayer. One or 2 minutes. You can also say it, love, 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 love. Release, say a few of them and then release it for a moment, and then do another series. So we're just trying to dig it out, find this experience of love. Continue a little bit more. Magnify it, tweak it, tweak it. Original love, love of our true being, myself, you, and each one of us, every one of us, as love. And as you start using the love mantra, then just feel it. How does it feel? Love. How does it feel like? What is love? How does it feel in the chest cavity? How does it feel in the torso? In arms, hands, fingers, in the legs, feet, toes, in the head, and beyond the physical body. What is the sensation like? So this is still Ati Yoga, non-meditation, meditation of Buddha nature. We simply tweaked up the second one of the 3 characteristics of the natural state, which is aliveness, we took a different perspective to this aliveness than what is common in Buddhism, in Vajrayana Buddhism. Borrowed something from the Hindu camp. And if you got the juices flowing, you already have some sense why I'm talking about this. I'm pointing it out. If you have had very hard experiences in life and are traumatized, or if you were hurt badly in some relationship with a spouse or boy or a girlfriend or your parents, it is likely that there is some painful, hurtful sensations in the heart. And if so, it might be difficult to access or find this love that I'm talking about. In this case, give yourself time with it. You know, if there's a lot of hurt, your heart has been kicked in, you know, it takes time to heal. But this really is the, as I named the session, the great magnetic healer. And it's so simple, because we all have the ability to love, to feel loved, to experience love. So when you get the sensation going, sort of like, it's similar getting it going on like practicing a tantric deity, which is familiar to open heart sangha practitioners. So when we get the sensation going on, we simply stay with it. Become it. Unite with it. And when that happens, we become healed, very deeply healed, as human beings, as beings, as mind streams. The reason why I named the session Magnetic Healer is because love is magnetic. It has magnetism to it, like attraction, force of attraction in it. So when we generate love, whether it's like a sutra style like we did just now, or if it's love expressed to the guru, which is tantric application, or love expressed towards a deity, you know, the sensation comes first in the heart, but because it's magnetic, it has magnetism in it, you feel it in your whole being. It's like your whole being becomes touched by this energy of love, comes filled with this pure, warm energy. And this is the great healer, because it naturally spreads into the body, And magnetism is like a glue, the magic glue that glues pieces, bits and pieces back together. I mentioned healing traumas in the text that I read, and if we haven't had love and attention and affirmation from our parents, from our role models when we were children, then we likely have some emotional trauma. But as adults, if we still have parents, maybe we can, effect some healing through communicating with them. But as yogis, we can understand that this love is also within us, and we can heal ourselves from such traumas simply through this practice, simply through cultivating loving devotion, digging it out from below the surface of this hurt and pain. It's there. Love. Healing love. Healing love at the heart of all sentient beings, including those who have been hurt, who are painful, who are traumatized. Original love. Not only original mind of clarity, but original heart of love. You feel that? Do you feel that? So the three basic characteristics of the natural state are knowingness, self-cognizance, aliveness and groundedness, all three together. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, this love is the second one. Aliveness, positivity, love, compassion. So if as a Buddhist we are concerned of being over-emotional, let me ask you, do you feel over-emotional? Have you lost the clarity of cognizance, clarity of knowingness, or the foundational groundedness? If we overdid this emotion of love, then we'd lose clarity and groundedness. But if you haven't, and when we haven't, our practice is still correct, according to the Ati Yoga, yoga of original condition. So no worries. sense. Soak in it. Following, being together with the sensation of love, being with it, following with it, dancing with it, being happy about it in our subtle body, in our heart. Letting love do its thing, which is the same thing that letting our true nature, Buddha nature, liberated nature, heal our samsaric condition. That is big. That is all we do in Dharma with practice. Healing the hurts of negative emotions and negative experience with love of our true being, with love of the Buddha within. Just like with tantric mantras and tantric deities, when the charge starts to subside, we can bring it back again, generate the deity, or in this case generate the love, the Buddha of love. Again, we use the love mantra. Do that a few times. Say to yourself in your heart, love, 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 in your native language. And when you feel love being magnified again, then you can drop the mantra and just feel it. Be the feeling of love. So you're not witnessing love, like there is me that is perceiving or experiencing love in the body. Surrender. Give your whole body to it, your whole being. So the three basic characteristics are all together, meaning here that knowingness and love are the same thing. Are they? Are those two unified? So the energy of love can flow freely in your whole being, in your whole body-mind. So we don't confine it, keep it in the chest. We surrender, open our being for it. Just like we open and relax when we are taking sunbathing in the summer. So we let the sun of love radiate naturally, without choking it, without hindering it in any way. Feels good, doesn't it? The usual reminders of Hatha Yoga practice are that we are not blissing out or going to special states of meditation or concentration or into states of trance. Nothing like that. We are still completely present, effortlessly, naturally, and not meditating. Not in a special state, but rather in our natural state. That is really simple. Because it's simple, that's why it's hard for us samsaric beings who are complicated. But it's really, really, really simple. Those who have advanced a little bit in their open heart yoga practice and opened all bhumis, opened Mahasiddha bhumis, know really well that it's really simple. And if you listen to Dzogchen teachers of the Tibetan tradition, they keep repeating that it's really simple. It's really simple. You just gotta stop doing and just rest in the natural state. When you open albumis, you know this perfectly well. In the previous series on bodhicitta that I taught in the spring, 1 or 2 months ago, you can find the recordings from the YouTube channel. We were doing this simple visualization where we imagined of sitting in the center of a large sports venue, like a sports arena or huge auditorium, and imagining all these sentient beings around us. So to tie this love, which I also mentioned in the 4 immeasurables text, to tie this to compassion and bodhicitta, as you feel the love now, simply feel all life and all beings around you. Kind of just open your perception to the space around you that is inhabited by all other beings, human beings, animals, plants, planets, stars, and in the subtle realm, all these other beings that Buddhism talks about, these realms of different kinds of beings who have different kinds of emotions. Feel love together with them. You can visualize it or simply feel it. Simply perceiving it. Perceive it without visualization. What do you feel? What do you perceive of them? It becomes evident quite fast, I think, that all these sentient beings are deeply hurt and traumatized. They have had negative experiences, just like we humans do. No samsaric being has had a perfect life. And so we are more or less traumatized, hurt. So let's wish together that all beings have the opportunity to find and feel this natural love within them. May all beings around me feel this love. Not my love, but their own love. Let them have chances and opportunities to find ways that help them to find this love, that help them to recognize their natural condition. And now see, when you express that prayer, see how there's a slight change in the energy from love to compassion. Can you notice that? It's like this love going out to other beings as a dynamic force, as a dynamic power of caring, genuine care. So what is compassion without love? If there is no juice, love in our being, in our heart, what is compassion without it? That was my point in the 4 immeasurables text. Without love, it's sort of like trying to squeeze water or moisture from a dry piece of cloth. But with love, the piece of cloth is soaked, drenched in moisture. So it's a very different experience, isn't it? So we will finish this practice session with the basic prayers. You can find the basic prayers from if you don't know them already, you can go to the Open Heart website in English and go to Open Heart Info. There is the introduction page, and scroll down to the bottom of the page. You can find these basic prayers of refuge, bodhicitta, and dedication of merit. And when we chant the bodhicitta prayers after the refuge, you can again feel that love, compassion, and also the love when you chant the refuge and chant the dedication of merit. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Feel the prayer, the energy of it, clarity of it, love of it, groundedness of it. Then absolute refuge. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. And then bodhicitta, 3 times together. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. So we are actually wishing liberation to all beings around us, not just saying it to ourselves, actually expressing this motivation to support and help others out of samsara. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Join hands. There. So The next Tuesday webcast will be in 2 weeks from now. And we will continue on the topic of love then. There will also be teachings this weekend in Dublin, Ireland. Probably workshopping on love. And then after 2 weeks, which is, I think, is it 18th? 18th of June. After that we will take a break until the beginning of August. So so we did a simple experiment with love, tying it to Ati Yoga practice, the 3 basic characteristics. By all means, use it. So whether you are open heart practitioner or not, cultivate this love in your practice. If you practice open heart yoga already, when you sit down and relax, the first technique, before going to jewel visualization, generate this love, get it going in the beginning of the practice, and then return to it throughout the practice in different techniques and in between different techniques. So you kind of keep it with you throughout the session. And we can discuss it in Open Heart Sangha, which is a closed Facebook group for open heart yoga practitioners. And I would love to hear comments from Sangha members, what your experience are with bringing the magnetic ingredient of love into your tantric practice. Because we will do it we will bring it into the practice. So thank you very much everyone who's joined this session, and see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.